Arman Rafiq stared at the floating message until his eyes burned. The letters were not letters at first. They were ribbons of light that curled and untied themselves, turning into plain English one calm beat at a time. Zoreth is dead. You are his heir. Come to Proxima B immediately. His fingers stopped above the keyboard. His small apartment went silent. The city hum behind the window felt far away, like a memory from someone else's life. Zoreth gone? The strange friend who had sent him puzzles at midnight and star maps as jokes? For 5 years, the two had traded messages through a narrow, secret channel. A human programmer in Lahore and a scientist under a purple sun. It sounded like a dream, yet here it was, an inheritance no one on Earth would believe. More messages arrived in the next 2 days. Each carried a code only Arman and Zoreth knew. Each said the same thing: hurry. A ticket followed, wrapped in a contract that bent his mind. He signed because his hands were already moving. He signed because grief was faster than fear. The jump ship felt like a needle through night. Cryo-sleep came in blue waves, broken by brief moments of floating awareness. He saw Starfield smear like paint. He heard a voice counting down in a language he did not know but somehow trusted. When the ship woke him for the last time, his heart was a drum. Outside the viewport, Proxima B rolled into view. Deep violet oceans, silver cloud bands, and a thin ring of ice that caught the light like a blade. Touchdown was soft. The ramp opened with a hiss, and alien air slid around him, cool and sweet, but thin. His suit compensated with a gentle push and a quiet beep. A welcoming party waited at the edge of the pad. 2 figures stood at the front. One had sleek, cobalt skin that shimmered like water under moonlight. Her eyes were silver, steady, and unreadable. The other was smaller, with iridescent scales along her temples and soft tendrils framing her face like a crown. Both bowed with a fluid grace Arman could not match. Arman Rafiq, said the taller one. Her voice was musical, but carried steel. I am Azura, first companion of Zoreth. And I am Lion, said the other, warmer, careful, watching his breath. Second companion. You are welcome here. Companion. He nearly asked what that meant. Instead he said, I'm sorry for your loss. The words felt thin. The wind caught them and carried them away. They moved to a hovering car that purred like a satisfied animal. The city rose ahead, bridges like glass threads, spires like frozen lightning, gardens that hung in the air and did not fall. Arman tried to count the colors and gave up. He had never seen purple cast a shadow before. Why me? He asked at last. Zoreth had a whole world. Why would he leave it to a human who cannot even breathe the air? Azura studied him. Because you are not tangled in our arguments. You see lines we do not. Zoreth believed you could connect what we could not connect, Lion added. He said your mind is untaught by our mistakes. They brought him to a tower that seemed to grow from the rock, not sit on it. Inside, the walls held moving light. Displays woke as he passed, feeding the air with silent maps and drifting symbols. A gentle voice that might have been the building greeted him by name. This was his home, Azura said. And his lab. His work is delicate, Lion said softly. And dangerous. What work? Arman asked. They shared a look that meant later. They showed him a room with a window that took his breath again. A river of crystal cutting through a forest of silver ferns. The bed shaped itself to his back. The light dimmed like a hand over a candle. Sleep did not come. Too much space lived behind his eyes. He walked the corridor, counting steps to calm his thoughts, until he found a door that parted at his approach. The room beyond was different from the others. Quieter, less polished, more human. A study. On the desk lay a block of glass like a frozen tear. He touched it. It woke. Zoreth's face appeared, pale lavender, eyes tired but bright. If you see this, the recording said, I am gone. And if I am gone, then the balance is already failing. What I leave you is not wealth. It is a task. There are those who will use my research to break 2 worlds at once. You must keep them from doing it. I chose you because you listen to problems until they tell you their true names. The message cracked to static. Alarms bloomed in the hall. Low, urgent, close. Arman spun. Azura and Lion stood in the doorway, poise turned to alertness. They found us, Azura said. Kronos, Lion whispered, fear and resolve braided in her voice. We must move. Arman looked back at the frozen face on the glass, then forward into the dark corridor where the alarm lights pulsed like a heartbeat. He did not feel ready. He went anyway. Outside, the purple night was rising. Somewhere beyond the city, the first echo of thunder rolled. Not weather, but engines. A hunt had begun, and he was now the reason for it. The city lights of Proxima B flickered like a nervous pulse beneath the alien dusk. Arman followed Azura and Lion through a corridor that seemed alive, walls shifting with faint patterns of bioluminescent veins. The alarm still howled in the distance, echoing off the high glass towers. Somewhere behind them, heavy footsteps and metallic clicks drew closer. Whoever Kronos was, his people knew how to hunt. Who are they? Arman hissed, breath fogging inside his half-pressurized visor. Zoreth's enemies, Azura replied sharply. They seek what he built, but they don't understand it. To them, power is a weapon, not a bridge. Lion glanced over her shoulder, her iridescent tendrils glowing faintly with stress. They will destroy both worlds just to possess it. They reached a junction where the corridor split into 3 shimmering paths. Azura pressed her palm to a glowing symbol. The middle path dissolved into a staircase spiraling downward. Move, she ordered. The air grew colder as they descended. The hum of the city faded, replaced by a low vibration Arman felt in his bones. When they emerged into an underground hangar, a small vessel waited, sleek and organic, its hull pulsing with veins of blue light like a living creature asleep. This was Zoreth's personal craft, Lion said. He called it the Whisper. It knows him, and now, maybe you. Azura's silver eyes fixed on Arman. Touch the core crystal. It will decide whether you are truly his heir. Arman hesitated. Decide. Before he could ask more, distant explosions shook the ceiling. Dust rained down, followed by the faint hiss of decompression. There was no time. He stepped forward and placed his palm on the control orb. It was like touching lightning and music at once. The ship recognized him. The crystal flared, and symbols rippled across the hull. The craft came alive with a soft exhale. Panels opened, seats unfolded, and the engines purred with an almost human sigh. He's accepted, Lion whispered in awe. The ship has bonded. Then we go, Azura said. She slid into the pilot's seat. Lion took the co-pilot's controls. Arman strapped himself in, heart pounding as the hangar roof peeled open like a metal flower. A purple storm rolled above the skyline. They shot upward into it, chased by streaks of plasma fire. The first blast grazed their wing. The ship screamed, but held. Arman's vision blurred as gravity yanked at his insides. The city became a whirl of violet and silver beneath them. Lion's fingers danced across the console, weaving light into protective runes. Shields at 70%. Not enough. Azura barked. Arman, can you feel it? The ship listens to you. Tell it to move. I don't, he started, but the thought wasn't finished before the ship reacted. The Whisper spun like a drop of mercury, slipping between the enemy fire with impossible precision. Arman felt its pulse in his mind, matching his heartbeat. For the first time, he understood what Zoreth meant by connection. They broke through the storm layer into the open sky. The enemy ships vanished behind the clouds, unable to follow. The world stretched below them like a bruise of light and shadow. Azura exhaled slowly. For now, we are safe. Arman looked out the viewport. The horizon shimmered with strange colors, violet seas merging into silver deserts. Somewhere beyond that, danger still waited. Where do we go now, he asked. To the caves of Luminera, Lion said quietly. Zoreth told me once that if anything ever happened to him, we would find answers there. It's sacred ground, and the only place Kronos cannot reach easily. Azura set the coordinates. It's far. We travel through the night. As the stars unfolded above them, Arman leaned back, trying to calm his thoughts. He had lost his friend, inherited an alien world, escaped death, and bonded with a ship that breathed. Somewhere between fear and awe, he realized he was no longer an observer of strange things. He was part of them now. Outside, the purple horizon curved gently away. Inside, the Whisper hummed softly, like it was listening to his heartbeat. For the first time, Arman Rafiq wondered not whether he could survive in this universe, but what it might already want from him. The night on Proxima B was unlike any night Arman had ever seen. The stars weren't distant points. They were rivers of light, slow and alive, flowing across the sky like silver fire. From the ship's glass dome, the alien world below looked endless. valleys that shimmered blue, mountains pulsing faintly with their own inner glow. Azura guided the whisper low across the terrain, skimming over glassy plains and forests that glowed from within. The engines hummed like a heartbeat, calm and steady, but the silence inside the ship was tense. Arman leaned forward, studying the glowing landscape. These lights, are they cities? Lion shook her head. No. The planet itself is alive. The soil carries bioenergy. The caves of Luminera were formed where that energy gathers. Azura's eyes reflected the glow, and it is said the caves remember every sound, every thought that enters them. The words unsettled Arman. You mean they record minds? Not in your sense, Lion replied softly. They echo memory. Feelings linger there, joy, fear, betrayal. They can speak to those who know how to listen. Arman felt a chill, but it wasn't fear exactly. More like anticipation. Hours later, the whisper descended into a narrow valley surrounded by mountains that shone like molten silver. The ship landed on a smooth obsidian plain. The moment Arman stepped outside, he felt the air change, thicker, humming with something invisible. The entrance to the cave stood ahead, marked by spirals carved deep into the rock. They pulsed faintly when Azura approached, as if recognizing her presence. The markings react to living energy, she explained. They read intention. Arman raised a brow. And what if someone comes with bad intentions? Then the mountain closes, Lion said simply. A low tremor rumbled beneath their feet as they entered the cave. The walls glowed softly, painting everything in waves of gold and blue. The further they walked, the more Arman's senses sharpened. He could hear his own pulse. He could smell faint traces of metal and ozone in the air. This place feels awake, he murmured. It is, Azura replied. Every step we take is watched, not by eyes, but by memory. They reached a wide chamber filled with crystal columns that rose from the ground like frozen lightning. In the center stood a circular platform engraved with ancient runes. Lion knelt beside it, brushing away dust that shimmered under her touch. This is the heart circle. Zoreth once studied the resonance here. Arman crouched to examine the engravings. These symbols, they look similar to the code he sent me. Maybe he left something hidden. Azura tilted her head. Try it. The caves will respond to your energy. He placed his hand on the runes. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the crystals surrounding the chamber flared with blinding light. Images burst through his mind. Zoreth standing here, working frantically at a console, alien figures arguing, a shadowy shape watching from the darkness. He gasped and stumbled backward as the vision faded. What did you see? Lion asked, catching his arm. Zoreth. He knew he was being hunted. He said something about a resonator, a device that connects worlds through energy fields. He said if it falls into the wrong hands, both Earth and Proxima will. A sudden vibration cut him off. The ground trembled, dust falling from the ceiling. They found us, Azura snapped. Kronos' drones. From the tunnel's mouth, lights appeared, red, scanning beams slicing through the shadows. Lion's voice was urgent. Arman, the caves respond to you. Can you close the entrance? I don't know how, he said, panic rising. Stop thinking. Feel it, Azura ordered. The caves hear thought. Command them. Arman swallowed hard, placed both palms on the floor, and focused on the idea of protection. The crystals around him flared again, this time golden. The entire cavern groaned. Then, with a deafening crack, the entrance collapsed just as the drones reached it. Silence followed, broken only by the echo of falling stone. Lion's wide eyes shone in the dim glow. You did it. Arman's hands trembled. No, we did. The caves listened to all of us. Azura nodded slowly. Perhaps that is why Zoreth chose you. You don't command, you connect. Before Arman could respond, a faint hum filled the air again, not from the cave, but from something deeper below. A new light began to pulse beneath the platform. What now? Arman whispered. Lion's expression turned serious. Now we find out what Zoreth really built, and why the universe is so desperate to claim it. The glow brightened, and a hidden stairway spiraled open beneath the floor, leading into darkness that shimmered like a living dream. Azura looked at Arman. This is your inheritance, human. Whatever waits below, it's been waiting for you. And together, they descended into the light. The stairway descended for what felt like forever. Each step hummed softly under Arman's boots, alive with faint pulses of energy that matched his heartbeat. The deeper they went, the lighter the air became, not thinner, but charged, like breathing static. Behind him, Lion's soft bioluminescent glow painted the path in hues of violet and gold, while Azura moved ahead with the quiet confidence of someone who knew danger could be waiting around any corner. The tunnel widened into a colossal chamber. Crystals jutted from the walls like frozen stars, each humming in tune with the others, forming a low, melodic vibration that filled the air. In the center stood a massive sphere suspended between three towering pylons. It wasn't metal. It was something else, translucent and shifting like liquid glass, swirling with galaxies inside. Lion gasped. It's real. The resonator core. Arman stepped forward, drawn to it as if by instinct. Zoreth mentioned this in the message. What is it exactly? Azura's silver eyes reflected the spinning light. A bridge between worlds. Zoreth believed energy from different realities could be harmonized, balanced, through sound and frequency. It could make travel instant, even heal dying planets, she hesitated. Or destroy both, if misused. Arman felt the pull of the sphere intensify as he approached. Symbols appeared around it, glowing softly in midair. Alien runes mixed with English words. It was like Zoreth had built a translator into the machine itself. One phrase stood out, pulsing brighter than the rest. The key is human resonance. Human resonance? Arman murmured. What does that even mean? Lion tilted her head. Zoreth once told us humans are unpredictable, emotional. Their energy shifts with thought and memory. Maybe he needed that, something no machine could copy. Azura frowned. It also means the device won't function without you, Arman. You're the last piece. Before he could respond, a sharp vibration cut through the chamber. The crystals flickered red. The air grew heavier. They found us again, Azura hissed. Kronos is tracking the resonator's energy signature. Lion's hands flew across the console embedded in the floor, activating a shimmering dome of light that sealed the upper tunnel. That will slow them, but not for long. Arman turned to the sphere, his pulse matching its rhythm. If this thing is meant to balance worlds, maybe it can defend itself. Or us. He reached out, but Azura grabbed his wrist. Careful. One wrong signal could destabilize the entire system. I don't have a choice, he said quietly. Zoreth chose me for a reason. He placed his hand against the sphere. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the surface rippled beneath his touch like disturbed water. A voice, Zoreth's voice, whispered through his mind. The bridge must awaken through harmony, not control. 3 notes. 3 hearts. Arman looked at Azura and Lion. It needs all of us. The two exchanged a silent nod and stepped closer, each placing a hand beside his. The sphere glowed, pulsing with light that climbed up their arms and across the floor. The vibration deepened into a pure tone that resonated through their bones. Arman saw flashes, Earth's oceans boiling under alien fire, Proxima's towers collapsing, then another image, the two worlds glowing together, connected by a beam of light. He understood then, the resonator didn't just bridge matter. It bridged souls. The ground shook violently, snapping him back. The upper barrier shattered as Kronos' drones burst into the chamber, sleek and insect-like, firing plasma bolts that scorched the crystals. Protect the core, Azura shouted, drawing a weapon that shimmered like solid lightning. Lion moved beside her, her hands glowing as she cast arcs of defensive energy. Arman stayed at the sphere, focusing on the resonance. The sound grew stronger, higher, then suddenly released, like a song breaking open. A wave of energy blasted outward, rippling through the room. The drones froze midair, their lights flickering out one by one before they fell in silence. When it was over, the hum softened again to a heartbeat rhythm. Lion turned to him, breathless. What did you do? Arman stared at his glowing hands. I didn't destroy them. I silenced them. The resonator neutralized their energy. Azura stepped forward, eyes wide. You didn't just activate it, you bonded with it. Zoreth was right. You are the bridge. Arman's head spun, a mixture of awe and dread. Then that means Kronos will come for me next, not the machine. From the shadows of the upper tunnel, a distorted voice answered, deep and mocking. Correct, human. The air rippled as a tall figure stepped into the light, crimson-skinned, armored, eyes burning with cold fire. "Kronos," Azura whispered. Arman turned to face him, the sphere still pulsing behind him like a living heart. For the first time, he didn't feel like an outsider on this world. He felt like its defender. And somewhere inside, he sensed Zoreth's voice again, calm, proud, echoing like music through time. "Now, Arman, let them see what humanity truly is." The silence that followed was heavy enough to crush air. The only sound was the low hum of the resonator, still glowing behind Arman like a captured sun. Kronos stepped closer, his boots ringing against the crystalline floor. His armor was deep red and alive with faint energy threads, each one pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. His eyes, black pits rimmed with amber fire, locked onto Arman. "So this is the human Zoreth trusted," Kronos said, his voice a growl wrapped in arrogance. "I expected someone greater." Azura moved between them, her weapon humming like liquid electricity. "You shouldn't be here, Kronos. Zoreth's work isn't yours to claim." He smirked, revealing teeth edged like blades. Zoreth was a fool who thought peace could be engineered. But power doesn't unite, it rules. Arman clenched his fists. "You think power makes you right?" Kronos tilted his head. "No, it makes me inevitable." Without warning, he raised a gauntlet hand. A pulse of crimson energy exploded forward, shattering the nearest crystal spire. Arman hit the ground as shards of glowing stone rained around him. Azura rolled aside, returning fire, streaks of silver lightning cutting through the red haze. Lion extended both arms, weaving a shimmering barrier of energy that curved around them like a living dome. But Kronos' attack was relentless. Each blast shook the ground. The resonator pulsed violently, reacting to the clash of energies. "Arman," Lion shouted over the roar. "The resonator is feeding on the conflict. If it overloads, it'll take everything with it." Azura finished. Arman pushed himself to his knees, heart hammering. The sphere behind him flared brighter and brighter, echoing his panic. He remembered Zoreth's words. Harmony, not control. 3 notes. 3 hearts. He looked at the 2 women. "We can't fight him with weapons. We need to synchronize again, like before." Azura blinked, surprised. "You want to merge minds now?" "It's the only way," Arman shouted. "If the resonator connects us, maybe it can amplify what we feel, not destroy, but defend." Kronos sneered. "Do it, human. Show me your weakness." Ignoring him, Arman extended both hands. Azura and Lion joined him, their palms glowing faintly as the resonator responded. Light spread from their fingertips, weaving through the chamber like living music. The sound deepened, a harmonic vibration that pushed against the violence. Kronos fired again, but the blast dissolved midair, absorbed by the rising resonance. The chamber shook, walls vibrating in time with the pulse. Energy swirled around them, forming 3 overlapping circles of light, 1 gold, 1 blue, 1 white. Arman felt their thoughts blend, Azura's fierce courage, Lion's calm focus, and his own chaotic human determination. Their minds became one steady rhythm. The resonator responded like a heartbeat syncing to a melody. Then, everything changed. The world bent. The chamber expanded outward until Arman could see both Earth and Proxima be suspended in the air, connected by a web of glowing threads. The stars pulsed with color. Every living being seemed to hum in the same frequency. It was beautiful and terrifying. In the center of it all, Kronos screamed. His armor flickered and cracked as the resonance surrounded him. "You think unity makes you strong?" he spat. "It makes you fragile." But his power faltered. The resonator's light engulfed him, stripping away the darkness that clung to his aura. He staggered backward, snarling. "This isn't over, human. You can't stop what's coming." He slammed a device on his arm. A vortex of red energy opened behind him, a portal swirling with rage and shadow. Before Arman could react, Kronos stepped into it and vanished. The vortex collapsed with a deafening boom, leaving behind silence and the faint smell of burned ozone. The resonator dimmed, returning to its steady pulse. Arman collapsed to his knees, drenched in sweat. The link between the 3 of them faded slowly, leaving behind an echo of shared emotion, exhaustion, relief, and something like hope. Lion helped him stand. "You drove him back." Arman nodded weakly. "He'll return. And next time, he won't come alone." Azura looked toward the glowing sphere. Then we'll be ready. Zoreth gave you this gift for a reason. You're not just his heir, you're the guardian of his bridge. Arman gazed at the resonator, now pulsing softly in rhythm with his own heart. Through the shimmering surface, he saw fleeting visions, stars aligning, Earth's oceans reflecting alien skies, cities rising on both worlds in harmony. For the first time since his arrival, he didn't feel lost. He felt connected. He turned to Azura and Lion. Then let's finish what Zoreth started. Let's make sure no one ever uses this against either world again. Outside the cave, the first light of Proxima's dawn spilled over the mountains, pale violet and silver, and far above, two worlds began to hum in quiet, perfect resonance. The days after the battle were a blur of rebuilding and unease. The Whisper hovered quietly near the ruins of the Luminara caves, its hull cracked and scorched, but still breathing like a living thing. Arman stood outside, gazing at the twin suns rising over the horizon, one violet, one pale white. Between them hung the faint shimmer of the energy bridge, still pulsing between Earth and Proxima, be like a thread of living light. Azura approached from behind, her silver eyes reflecting the dawn. The resonator is stable for now, she said. But Kronos' energy signature has resurfaced. He's regrouping. Lion joined them, her calm presence grounding the tension in the air. We intercepted fragments of his transmissions, she added. He's building something, a counter-resonator. If he completes it, he could invert the bridge and collapse both worlds into a singularity. Arman's stomach tightened. How much time do we have? Not enough, Azura replied. He's using fragments of Zoreth's research, stolen during the attack. The only way to stop him is to rebuild the resonator's control core completely and merge it with you. Arman blinked. Merge it how? Lion's voice softened. It means you become part of it, mind and body. You'd no longer be separate from the energy field. You would be the bridge. He felt the weight of her words. Becoming part of the resonator meant losing his human form, his memories, maybe even his identity. But as he looked at the horizon, where two worlds trembled on the edge of hope, he already knew his answer. Then I do it, he said, if it means saving them. Azura looked away, her voice quiet. Zoreth believed humans were too fragile for such integration. But maybe he was wrong. They returned to the chamber where the resonator stood, glowing like a captive sun. The hum of its power resonated with Arman's heartbeat. As he stepped closer, the air shimmered, bending around him in waves of golden light. Lion touched his shoulder. We'll guide you through it. You won't face it alone. He smiled faintly. You've said that since the first day I landed here. They joined hands again, forming the familiar triangle. This time, the resonance didn't just echo through their minds. It tore through every cell in Arman's body. Pain and brilliance fused into one sensation. He saw everything. The heartbeat of Earth's oceans, the sigh of Proxima's winds, the quiet pulse of 1,000 lives depending on him. And then his consciousness stretched. The physical world slipped away like a shell. He became energy, pure and fluid, woven into the resonator's network. He could see the bridge from both sides now, two planets connected by a living thread that sang with the pulse of humanity. Through the haze of light, Azura's voice reached him faintly. Arman, can you hear us? He smiled, though he no longer had lips to shape the word. Always. Then the storm came. Kronos' fleet descended from orbit, thousands of warships bristling with crimson light. Their weapons fired in unison, red lances of energy streaking toward the bridge. The resonator shuddered. Arman reached out, not with hands, but with will. He felt every particle of light, every vibration of matter, every molecule screaming under the strain. He focused his mind, turning chaos into harmony, discord into melody. The bridge glowed brighter. The first wave of attacks dissolved against its energy shield like raindrops against glass. But Kronos was relentless. From the lead warship, he unleashed his final weapon, a gravity spear, designed to rip the bridge apart at its quantum core. The moment it struck, Arman screamed. The pain was beyond pain. It was existence unraveling. Azura and Lion pressed their palms to the resonator, channeling their own life energy into it. Hold on, Arman, Lion shouted. You are the bridge. I can't hold it much longer. His voice echoed inside their minds, filled with static and agony. Azura's eyes filled with light. Then let us carry it with you. Together, they poured everything into the resonator. 3 hearts, 1 rhythm. The storm above them broke, thunder, light, and silence collapsing into one. And the universe changed. When the light faded, there was no sound, no movement, only stillness. The battlefield above both worlds had vanished. The enemy fleet was gone, erased without trace. Between Earth and Proxima B, the bridge still shone, brighter and purer than ever before. But Arman Rafiq was nowhere to be seen. Azura and Lion stood at the heart of the resonator chamber, surrounded by glowing crystal dust. The machine pulsed slowly, like a resting heart. They could still feel him, not in body, but in everything around them. Arman, Lion whispered into the silence. A warm wind moved through the chamber, though there was no wind underground. The resonator flared softly, and his voice filled the air, calm and steady, like the echo of a star. I'm here. Don't mourn me. I'm part of this now. Every connection, every thought that crosses the bridge. I'll hear it. Azura swallowed hard. You became what Zoreth dreamed of, the bridge made flesh. Not flesh anymore, Arman's voice replied, almost amused. Something more. I can feel both worlds now, their oceans, their storms, their people. And I can protect them. Outside, across the skies of both planets, the bridge pulsed once more, sending a wave of light that wrapped each world in a calm glow. The people on both sides looked up, seeing it for the first time, a river of light flowing between stars, carrying faint whispers of hope. Months passed. The alliance grew. Trade and knowledge crossed the bridge freely. Children on Earth learned the songs of Proxima's wind, and alien scholars studied human oceans. The name Arman Rafiq became legend, the guardian of the bridge. On the anniversary of the battle, Azura stood atop the observation tower that overlooked the bridge. Lion stood beside her, holding a small crystalline pendant that pulsed faintly with light, a gift left by the resonator. Azura closed her eyes and whispered, You kept your promise, human. You united us. The wind shifted, warm and soft. A familiar voice floated through the air, quiet but clear. And I'll keep it, for as long as both worlds breathe. The bridge shimmered, casting ripples of light across the sky. 2 planets, 2 civilizations, 1 shared heartbeat. And in that eternal rhythm, somewhere between stars, the spirit of Arman Rafiq watched over them still. The first human guardian of 2 worlds. Milky Way.